How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Jiangshi and Daoshi. Gosh darn it. I will never get that right the first time. Welcome back to the story where we're going to be facing off with the possessed nine-tailed fox. Yeah, this is going to get scary because he was already kind of intimidating, but a little bit of a pansy. Now he has no fear and can be super, like, destroying the building with just a fraction of his power strong. Like, this is getting to the ridiculous levels. I'm not sure if they can actually even win, but they might be able to persuade him to, like, go away. I don't know. I have no idea how this is going to end. It's kind of a nightmare. But, I'm thinking we're getting close to the end? I have no idea. I have really no idea. But, yeah, I think, we're just going to see, like, it's probably going to push Luan and Ling Ling to their limits, but I gotta hope that they can do something here. But... if I'm honest, the best case scenario is they get away alive with information on who their enemy actually is. So, I suppose we should just jump right in and see how it all plays out. Would you be so kind as to hand me back the Apostate Jian? Asked the man controlling Shin's body. Ling Ling imagined that his casual tone of voice must have stemmed from the vast difference between their powers. Just being in his presence made her nauseous, to say nothing of the violent headache and constant shivers. The direct cause was a sudden decrease in blood pressure as her blood vessels expanded. As a form of self-preservation, the human body would respond like this in order to decrease bleeding following a severe injury. That alone was proof that Ling Ling was downright terrified of this man. Muttered Tal. More or less, probably.
ああ、その通りだ。彼女は優秀な同志で邪戦の母体としていいと思ったのだが、まさか自爆されるとはね。
Right. The corpse, though, was one Shin looked at Tal and Ling Ling like he was gauging their potential.
さてと、君たちは邪戦の母体として使えるレベルか？しばらく攻撃しないから全力でかかってきたまえ。
Yeah, and
先生が採点してあげよう。
The worst thing is that he's like no risk to him whatsoever, you know? Like this is just like he's possessing the body. He's not actually there. Like he can be whatever he wants. Even if he were to die and fail here, it's not a big deal. He's just gonna be like, yeah, sure, whatever.
優秀なら母体に9大点に達しないのであれば解剖して丹田を取り出し擬炭の材料にでもするか。
Okay, well now we know what of the ingredients is for the Gitan. With that, Shaolin spread his arms wide apart. Tao contorted one side of her face. Though she sounded a brief chuckle, her gaze burned with unflinching hatred. He does, but I don't think you can do it. Ling Ling tried to stop Tao with a ladder took a step towards the Shaolin. Yet her efforts were in vain. Tao took off with the speed of a bullet and instantly closed the distance between herself and Shin's cadaver. Accelerated by the hex, Tao's fist crashed into Shaolin's face with immense power. However, Tao's expression froze. The man effortlessly caught her fist in his palm.
40点
muttered Shaolin. Despite having the upper hand in the fight, Shaolin's voice rang with the disappointment of a teacher grading the work of a poor student.
練られた気こそ素晴らしいが、単純な力で直接肉体を強化する青山派に、負で間接的に強化した泰山派が叶うわけなかろう。
Well, it's not like she has other options, man. Like, is she supposed to be able to know all the different forms? Tao tried to shake off the man's hand, but his grip was like a hydraulic press. She desperately threw another punch with her free hand, but he caught that fist as well.
失敗から学びたまえ、タオ君。
Ah, bullet charm. Shaolin suddenly realized that Tao's chest had been glowing. Oh, it says a supercharge! Oh, something akin to a thick laser beam shot out of the demon bullet charm stuffed in her cleavage. Hey, it's handy, man. A refulgent, destructive light filled the space that Shaolin occupied. No, but it was a valiant effort. Ling Ling uttered the words nigh unconsciously.
70点
Said Shaolin, standing right beside her. Ling Ling jumped away like a startled grasshopper. It was a reflexive action. Her brain had largely failed to process it.
相手の得意な土俵で勝負を仕掛けて油断させて、そこからのゼロ距離砲撃。悪くないよ。それに、今の私に術が効くことを見越していたね。
Oh, okay. That is interesting. I don't know if she actually figured that out, but like now that he's in control, obviously like the protection that the nine-tailed fox normally has is kind of moot.
キュービの体だけど、カコン人で操られているから、今なら術が効くと思ったの。
Right.
正解だ。キュービの狐は生きている間は術は通じぬが、一度殺せば術が通るようになる。いい。とてもいいね。
Shaolin commended Tao. His voice had the genuine lift of approval, sounding almost like that of a father praising their child.
さてと。
Shaolin's body disappeared with a loud squealing sound. Ling Ling looked around with a puzzled expression. Behind her, Shaolin placed both his hands on her shoulders.
スーザン師匠権宿知客
Unbelievable. This isn't gonna be good. Witnessing her opponent move faster than the naked eye could follow left Ling Ling pale with dread.
さて、君の実力はどの程度かな？ぜひとも先生に見せてくれたまえよ。
He's got a good point too, like, cause like he's not in any real danger here. Again, letting his like apparent opponents like unleash themselves 100% on them will give him a good gauge of exactly what they're capable of. So he's putting them in real danger, but mostly to play with them. Ling Ling swung her sword as she turned. He's gonna break it, isn't he? But Shaolin was no longer there.
遅いな。そんなことではこの宿知客に追いつくことはできないよ。
Said Shaolin from a moderate distance. Tao's demon bullet sped toward her opponent's face. The charm, however, found only empty air and continued toward the wall. Shaolin dodged it with his ungodly speed again. He kept blinking around the place as if he were teleporting.
ふむ。こちらから攻撃しないのは教育上良くないのかもしれん。
Oh boy.
緊張感がそがれるからね。さてと、では、少し痛くしよう。
Oh boy. And with that, Shaolin disappeared. Death strike. Fetch! Ling Ling was swept away by the backhand slap from Shaolin, who had suddenly reappeared. The sheer force felt like an explosion had just gone off within her body. And she could clearly hear bones crack under the pressure.
人の心配をしている場合ではないよ。ほら、集中したまえ。
Before she could react, Shaolin had appeared behind her, his back pressed against hers. It made her break into goosebumps, and not just because of the low temperature of Shin's expired body. Tao whirled around. He's not even there. Oh! But in that exact same moment, Shaolin buried his elbow in her stomach. For a brief second, she felt her entire body was burning from the inside. Oh, fetch. She flew through the air and crashed into the wall. Tao's body began to convulse. She tried to inhale air, but it was like breathing a lungful of water. Her vision grew dim as her brain was rapidly running out of oxygen. Her nerves flared up, sending pain signals intense enough to make her question why her body was still in one piece.
双子とはいえ、ミー君ほどの実力はないようだ。君は落第だよ、タオ君。解体され、ギタンの材料になりたまえ。
タオ殿、ダメだ。先ほどの攻撃で体が助けに間に合わぬ。
Come on, Luan, where are you? Ling Ling's body felt heavy as lead. Shaolin aimed at the finish tile, moving to use his shokuchi again. Suddenly, a hint of confusion appeared on Shaolin's face. It was Luan, parrying his steel fist with little effort.
俺も採点してくれよ、先生。
Yeah, okay. So how's this gonna go, Luan? I mean, you can't really die right now, but you could be broken. I can't be good.
ほう
Exhaling an impressed breath, Shaolin took a few steps back.
ルアン君。
Tao collapsed. However, Luan caught her body before it could hit the ground. And lifted it up in a princess hold. Of course he
よう
did.
先生、ちょっとタオを解放させてくれ。
Hang on. There we go. That's a thumbnail.
俺を採点するんだから、無防備な状態を襲ったりしねえよな。
まあね、勝つことが第一の目的ではないからね。
Right, fair point. Shaolin crossed his arms and assured Luan.
よっと。
Luan laid Tao down on top of the roulette table and gave her a closer look. The girl seemed so frail now that it felt like a single touch could break her. From time to time, she would let out a pained groan. But of course, Luan merely used her modes to estimate the damage done to her body, and otherwise treated the girl like he always did.
腰骨にひびが入っているが、内臓破裂とか命に関わる怪我はないかな。
Fetch. Not really realistic, but hey, that's fine.
でも動かない方がいい。まあ、動けないだろうけど。
Yeah. Tears began to well up in Tao's eyes. That was pretty interesting. Aww, and she quickly broke into a loud sobbing.
悔しいよ。すごく悔しい。みーちゃんの本当の敵が目の前にいるのに、何もできないどころか値踏みされて。私は。
Luan placed his hand on Tao's. The girl was still being racked with sobs.
ルアン君。
ちょっとこれ借りるぜ、タオ。
With that, he pulled the brass knuckles off her hands and put them on his own.
ま、勝つことはできなくても、少しくらいお前の気を晴らしてやるよ。
Yeah.
そんな、ルアン君、殺されちゃうよ。
It wasn't courage nor reckless bravado that drove Luan. Tao wanted to prevent him from rushing into a losing battle. Luan, however, responded in a sanguine tone.
大切な妹の仇なんだろう。そんで、さっきお前は師匠を姉妹みたいなもんって言った。
Yep.
だったら、俺の身内の仇だぜ。
Ooh, screwing with my family. That's adorable. Luan's expression reflected inspired confidence.
ルアン君。
If Tao had a brother of her own, she figured it would have been someone like him, carefree yet profoundly dependable at the same time. Idealized gender-bent Tao. Interesting. It was, of course, merely a projection of her own ideal self as the perfect older sister she could never become. Yeah, yeah. Did she name her like gender bent Tao self Kirito? Oh man. Yeah, she's kind of a fan. Like, I know my picture's like kind of over these little boxes, but effectively just imagine the cringy self-insert like OC character from fan fictions, and that's effectively how she sees the gender bent version of herself. So, oh Tao, don't write any books anytime soon. Anyway, but we brother might have been like Luan's traits and overlapped with that ideal of hers. Sorry, you need to tune
その代わり頼みがある。
Yeah, yeah. What is he doing? What is he doing? Luan leaned close to Tao, who had almost called him a big brother. Her cheeks flushed the color of a ripe apple. In the end, Luan's lips found her ear and whispered something barely audible. Okay, so he's got a plan. Tao's expression changed instantly.
さて、そんじゃ。
Look at those veins! Oh gosh, he looks like he's gonna explode! Luan slowly stepped in front of Shaolin.
同志でない君にあまり興味はない。すぐに終わらせよう。
Shaolin assumed a fighting stance.
通山師匠権宿知客
Oh boy. With that, Shaolin disappeared again. Ling Ling let out a scream. The next moment... Yeah, I predicted where you were gonna go. Luan's brass knuckles rammed into Shaolin's face.
トリマ、これはミーの分。
And he's gonna turn around and just connect with him again. Shaolin continued to move at lightning speed. He's using his own speed as a weapon. That's actually pretty clever. He circled around Luan, aiming for a surprise attack. But...
No.
Yep, Luan, he's using his own strength against him. Luan countered his attack with a backhanded punch to the face. Ooh, oh, look at that. Oh, gross. It shattered Shin's bones and made his nose wobble around like some kind of invertebrate animal. Yeah, must hide this. Blood splattered all over the floor.
これはタオの分かな。
Yeah. Luan slowly turned around. And after Ling Ling. And suddenly launched a right hook. Shin's body leaned to the side.
もう一発タオの分。
Oh, another one for Tao. Tao whispered as she spectated the fight. Luan responded to Tao by flashing a smile. He must have either possessed superhuman hearing or a sixth sense of sort to be able to pick up what she just said. Oh, wait. Maybe all she did was enhance him to give him strength, because he's got the skill he needs, and so if he has the enhancements on his body to kind of bring him up to subpar, he could be pretty terrifying. Oh, good. This body won't hold. I need to retreat. Luan's eyes wandered away from Shaolin, his guard wavering for a moment. But that was precisely why the doctor assumed it to be a trap. First, he would use Shukuchi to gain some distance from his opponent and once again assume a proper fighting stance. But instead, his body staggered and lost its balance. He looked down to see Luan's foot stepping on his. He'd been had. Luan did indeed set up a trap. His eyes were a decoy to distract Shaolin's attention from his lower body. Oh my gosh, he just manipulates everything! The assumption that there was a trap turned out to have been the trap itself.
Hmm?
He's playing some like 4D chess here. Shaolin lost his balance, but Luan grabbed him by the hair with enough force to nearly tear his scalp off. Oh! He then followed it up with a jaw-shattering uppercut. With his foot still nailed to the floor, Shaolin's entire body bent backwards.
で、あとは。
Yeah. Luan released Shaolin from his grasp and discarded a fistful of hair he had pulled out. It was like a scene straight out of a Rashomon. He then balled his hand into a fist once again. His lip curled into an ominous smile.
俺の師匠を殴った分だ。
Yeah. Right before his fist crashed into Shaolin's face. Yeah. Oh gosh, that single thought raced through Ling Ling's mind as she watched Xiaolin getting pummeled into the ground. Ugh, that's really gross. Carrie. Yet despite being exposed to an incessant shower of blows, Xiaolin merely chuckled.
100点そして同時に0点
Ugh, he's annoying. I don't get the whole point grading system. He spread his arms wide, completely unfazed by the countless blows he was receiving mid-sentence. Ooh. He regarded Luan with curious eyes. That was the moment Luan aimed his knee into Shin's crotch. Oh. Ah! He crushed the testicle, left a crimson stain on Shin's pants, but Xiaolin, still in full control of the body, felt nothing.
シャーシューか
Shashu. Ah, I must commend you for...
宿地客で高速移動する私の動きを見切るとは見事
For a second, I forgot Shashu was a assassin. So Sakuchi is the enhancement, of course.
攻撃も容赦がなくて素晴らしいよ人を殺す術にかけては君は天才的と言っていいだろう
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
だがね
Xiaolin jerks his head forward, crashing into Luan's fist. Uh-oh. He heard the sound of grinding meat and cracking bones. Ooh. Ugh. Having come into contact with Xiaolin's forehead, Luan's fist shattered along his brass knuckles. Ow. This made him instinctively recoil.
人を殺すことに特化しすぎたな人ならざる者を殺すには力不足だ
Darn it. He's
君
doing
は
so
この
well.
中で一番強いしかし下級妖怪にすら勝てないだろう
I don't know. He was able to really mess with the nine-tailed fox. Xiaolin's tone carried a hint of pity, rooted in his position of absolute superiority. Ling Ling suddenly remembered how she met Luan. Right, running for his life from yokai. Back then, he was having trouble even against a group of simple donku. In truth, by the time the two met, Luan had already been fighting them for over 48 hours with no sleep or food. Luan being a seasoned assassin would not go down easily, but having been trained only in the art of common murder, there was little he could do against the yokai. There was nothing in his deadly repertoire that could end a creature like that. While he could certainly gain the upper hand in the fight, he could never actually win. That's not good.
ああ、ここまでか
Said Luan in a carefree tone as he cast a downward glance at his feet. Oof. Can't let you see your legs or I can see
生産
this.
死傷権宿地客
Xiaolin charged at Luan. The young man countered with a kick straight to the doctor's chest. Luan was able to keep up with the other superhuman speed. However, this counterattack lacked the necessary stopping power to make a difference in the fight. Xiaolin took a blow that would have sent an ordinary man to his knees in a pool of his own vomit and shook it off like nothing. Instead, it was Luan who ended up getting blown away. Oh boy. Ooh, Luan's body crashed through the roulette table, one of its broken legs impaling him like a spear. Yet in spite of that, he simply smiled. Taken by the sight, Xiaolin paused with a curious smile himself.
ほう死なないかその体はどうなっているのだ
He's already dead.
先生実はこれのおかげなんすよ
Luan pulled off his bandana, revealing the seal that Ling Ling had stuck on his forehead. Why would you reveal that?
実は俺本来なら死んでるはずなんすよでも師匠が金符を貼って俺の魂魄をなんとかこの体に留めてるってわけ
He pointed at his forehead.
先生この符を 剥がしてみる気はないっすか？
何を言っておるのだ、ルアン。
Ling Ling abruptly raised her voice. Luan's question had left her completely bewildered. In truth, she understood him better than anyone else, but her brain simply refused to acknowledge a suggestion so cruel.
Oh?
Is that because we learned earlier that normally being able to trap someone's soul in a body takes so much energy that even like somebody like me and Tao said that like if they could do it, which they didn't even think they could, it would probably burn out after a couple hours. So the fact that Ling Ling's keeping it up means that it's just absorbing a lot of her energy. So if he took it off, she might be strong enough to take him out. Shaolin seemed visibly curious.
死ぬべき人間の魂魄をとどめるには莫大な気が必要っすよね。師匠は常に俺のために力を割いたハンデ状態なんすよ。先生、うちの師匠の本当の実力を見てみたくないっすか？
Maybe that's what he asked her to do. Is like he's gonna take it off to let Ling Ling have her burst of power, but maybe Tao has applied a backup charm to kind of like take the burden on herself, so she can like just lay there and focus on keeping him around until Ling Ling can like reinstate him.
やめよ、やめるのだ、ルアン。
Ling Ling tried to stop him, but Luan had already announced his own death sentence.
自分じゃこの金符を剥がすことができないので、先生お願いするっすよ。それともガチの師匠とやり合うのは怖いっすか？
まさか私の目的は勝つことではなく、邪戦の母体にふさわしい女同士を探すことだよ。もし彼女にその実力があるとするならば望むところさ。
These are creepy pictures. With that, Shaolin approached Luan. But Ling Ling caught his right arm before he could advance any further.
ダメだ、決してそんなことをさせぬぞ。
Screamed Ling Ling, her expression desperate. She was still clinging onto Shaolin's arm.
話したまえ。
離さぬ、離さぬぞ。
ふむ、そうか。
Shaolin extended his left hand toward Ling Ling, his fingers seemingly prepared for a flick. Oh dear.
スーザン師匠剣、混合力。
Shaolin flicked at Ling Ling's forehead, sending her tiny frame flying through the air.
無力は悲しいな。
He muttered it without even glancing her way. Come on, Ling Ling. He's got a plan here. Ling Ling lay paralyzed on the ground, sobbing.
さて、ルアン君とか言ったね。何か言い残すことは？
師匠、不甲斐ない弟子だったっすけど、お世話になりました。
Luan turned to Ling Ling and smiled.
ダメだ、ルアン。少年、符を剥がしたら許さぬ。絶対に許さぬぞ。
Shaolin peeled off the seal from Luan's forehead. He then shredded it up and let the wind take the pieces. Luan collapsed like a marionette with its strings cut. Ling Ling watched this all unfold with an expression of utter despair. She had collapsed to the ground, defeated when Shaolin addressed her. His voice was almost sympathetic.
リンリン君、立ち上がりたまえ。君の本当の実力とやらを見せて。
Right. Remember how she deleted a mountain last time? That was when she was restrained. A moment later, Ling Ling was already standing beside Shaolin with her sword unsheathed.
え？
The man had only time to sound an awkward yelp. Yep. His body was sliced diagonally in half, causing him to bleed like blood to erupt like a fountain. Staring at the white fats and pink meats glaring at him from the fissure, Shaolin couldn't help but let out a confused gasp. Oh boy, muttered Ling Ling. Oh no.
早すぎる。見えないどころか切られたことすらわからなかった。
With beads of cold sweat covering its back, Shaolin slowly turned to Ling Ling. She muttered Ling Ling in a small, hoarse voice. Oh no. Her eyes were cold, dark like the deep sea.
そなたではなく、ルアンを守ることのできなかった。我自身が何よりも許せる。
Oh boy.
採点結果、計測不能。
Shaolin announced his own demise with a stiff smile. Retribution. Yeah, we'll keep going. Ling Ling's beady eyes were utterly devoid of life. She had readied her sword, emanating an aura of bottomless darkness. Aw, Ling Ling. Oh boy. That's pushing it. Her cheery demeanor was a thing of the past. What stood there now was a calamity incarnate, wearing the skin of a young girl.
降誕の術か。
Feeling a shiver, Shaolin considered the abomination before him.
自らを光の矢と化して高速移動する道術。
Oh boy.
だが。
Ling Ling's sword glimmered. Ooh. Oh, gross. Yeah. Duh, oh my gosh. The next moment, Shaolin received a barrage of attacks, all manifesting at the same time. Yet, regardless of his wounds, he remained standing.
素晴らしい。予想以上だ。しかし、こちらは死体だよ、リンリン君。どれほど刻まれても行動不能になることはない。
He still spoke from a position of superiority, yet his confident tone was not tainted by arrogance.
動きもだいぶ見切れてきた。次に切られると同時に金符を張って動きを封じるか。
Just as he thought crossed Shaolin's mind, it happened. Something felt odd. Wait, what? Why she got that? Ling Ling held up the doll that contained the apostate Jian.
本来であれば、妊婦の腹を裂いて引き出した胎児を用いる邪法。
Oh, can you use him?
こたびは我が不人形を母体に、これに封じられし邪戦を胎児に見立てて術をなそう。
Interesting. With that, she promptly impaled the doll on her holy sword. The next moment, a babbling of a baby could be heard in the room.
赤子？どこから？
The sound seemed to be coming from all angles. Shaolin looked around, trying to pinpoint its source. But before he could find anything, an enormous hand surfaced from the floor and seized him. What the fetch is happening? What? A giant baby, sizable enough to swallow a grown man whole, surfaced from the floor. Its eyes mirrored nothing but pure malice. They looked upon the world and cursed its very foundations. What the heck is oh my gosh, the thing's ear-piercing screech reverberated across the area.
邪法、縁動地。
Ooh, whispered Ling Ling in a dry, emotionless tone. Spite Child, an extremely powerful swamp sorcery. Heterodoxy, works by forcibly extracting the embryo of a pregnant woman's belly. It's possible to substitute it with a doll possessed by a spirit, to use the spite of a woman who had just lost her child, and the child's strong wish to return to the womb, in order to summon a giant baby that devours everything in its path. Did she just make a titan? Shaolin found himself overwhelmed by deep emotion. No fear, but deep emotion. However, its source wasn't the child of chaos towering before him.
彼女は、この陰の気は。
Yeah, she's kind of terrifying.
食え。
Ling Ling order came silent as a whisper. Interesting. So she's just... I guess he's already dead, so it doesn't quite count as killing him. The child opened its mouth wide, covering its saliva, its soft pink tissue glimmering in pandemonium's light.
これは素晴らしい。
Shaolin smiled, admiring the child. The next moment, his upper body disappeared into the thing's enormous jaws, leaving only the gruesome sound of chewing to disturb the silence. Gross. And now we have a problem. What do we do with the giant baby thing? Only some blood, fox hair, and the vast vase of Apostate Jian remained on the floor. The dark concentration of ki billowed in the air and returned to its vessel.
このようなものがあるから。
As the chill of the netherworld dissipated, Ling Ling's eyes regained some of their former life. Despite having regained her usual aura, Ling Ling raised her holy sword aloft with tears in her eyes. She then struck down the vase like she was trying to slice a watermelon in half. A moment later, a hard metallic whine could be heard. It was an unbelievable sight. The razor-sharp edge of the sword had been stopped by the man's bare hand. Wearing a pair of glasses and a lab coat, Shaolin, the real one, had just blocked Ling Ling's sword with his knuckles. Oh, this is actually much, much worse than I thought. I thought we were almost done. Oh, no.
スーザン師匠剣後期庫
muttered Shaolin, having turned into impenetrable stone.
そなたは。
Ling Ling gasped in surprise at the sudden appearance of the new opponent. Unfamiliar face, the possibility of them being a soulbinder, and the stone skin imbued with the insane amount of ki, they all hinted at the identity of this person as well as their relationship with the apostate Jian. A torrent of new information flooded Ling Ling's mind, momentarily paralyzing her. Shaolin, not being one to let an opportunity like this go to waste, quickly snatched the vase off the ground and jumped back toward the wall.
火山救護剣だけではなく邪法も使えるとは君は素晴らしい同志だよもう少しいろいろ試したいが
Right.
今日は引き下がろう
Right.
待て、逃さぬ。
Sealed. Shaolin punched the wall. The impact traveled all the way to the floor, sweeping Ling Ling off her feet. It left a massive gaping hole in the wall of the otherwise impenetrable shelter, allowing a cold breeze to find its way into the room through the opening,
金剛力
said Shaolin after having remodeled the room. Witnessing a display of such incredible power, Ling Ling staggered backward a few steps.
ここで君たちを皆殺しにするのは簡単だが邪戦を守りきるのは困難、あくまでプライオリティは邪戦の方が高いのでね
Right. That wasn't just an empty threat either. Had it not been burdened with the apostate Jian, Shaolin could have easily leveled this entire area. But even with apostate's presence holding him back, he would have still emerged victorious 9 times out of 10. Shaolin, however, was not to take the risks, no matter how small. In a matter of speaking, the apostate Jian had just spared Ling Ling and the others from a swift death.
それではごきげんよう再戦
And with that, Shaolin jumped out of the 10th floor window without a shred of hesitation. The moment he landed, he activated Shinkuchi and disappeared from sight.
我が剣が通じない。
Uttered Ling Ling, looking down at her holy sword with narrowed eyes. Gotta go fast! The scene removed at such supersonic speed, becoming no more than a blur. Shaolin thought back on everything that had just transpired. He looked like a child who discovered a toy he liked.
素晴らしいあれだけの胆を持つ同志はそうはいない
Oh boy.
そして何よりも
The face of Ling Ling as she cast a forbidden spell had burned itself into his memory. It was the complete opposite of her usual endearing look. What looked back at him then was more akin to a demon from the depths of the underworld. Her most striking feature, the pair of bone-chilling eyes, sent a shiver down Shaolin's spine. Oh, no.
見せた彼女の表情彼女こそ邪戦となるにふさわしい脅したいぜひとも脅したいね純粋それゆえ落ちやすいだろうおや
In that moment, he realized that his left hand, the same one that used stone skin on to block Ling Ling's blade, had been bleeding. Uh-oh. That's not good. His expression contorted even further.
ますます素晴らしいではないか
He'd broken into a villainous cackle without even realizing it. Noticing that the sound tickling his eardrums was his own voice, he began laughing even louder. Yeah, he's bananas on toast. His energy had returned. He felt like he could shatter entire mountains. He gets lost and takes a taxi. The razor's edge tension slowly dissipates from the room. Ling Ling stood motionless like a scarecrow in the middle of the decimated casino. A cold gust of wind found its way into the room through the hole, freezing both her heart and body. Ling Ling staggered to the young man's corpse. She knelt and snuggled against him, clutching the hem of his shirt. He's gonna be like, it's alright, master, because he's totally still there. Her exhausted face contorted in sorrow. In that moment, something suddenly appeared beside her. It was a panda.
いやあ、僕はパンダのル・アンアンだよ。
Even as the panda.
どうしたんだい、リンリンちゃん。君が悲しい顔していると僕まで悲しくなっちゃうよ。
Ling Ling stared back at the freshly appeared ball of fur, unable to process what was happening. It was a small panda. A cute puppet that could fit into a person's palm.
おはよっす、師匠。
Yeah! Luan flashed a beaming smile. Tao's about to die, so we probably should seal the deal real quick. Ling Ling's eyes widened in surprise as the little panda being the gentleman that it was, wiped her tears away.
これっすよ。
Luan pulled up his jacket. There was another seal stuck to his stomach.
私が魂魄の資産を封じる金符を貼っておいたの。
Yeah, said Tao from the table where she lay with a mischievous smile. Though that spear of the table leg nearly took it out. Ling Ling let out a weak gasp. It's not impossible to bind souls. In other words, she can keep it.
黙っててさせん、師匠。
Please,
先生がこ
please
の
don't
ことに
come
気
here.
づいて心変わりしたらタオが狙われるっしょ。だから黙ってたんすよ。
Yeah, exactly. Aww. Tears filled Ling Ling's eyes. She began pummeling away at Luan with her soft fists. Aww. Aww, Ling Ling. Luan embraced the girl's head while she continued bawling her eyes out. She pressed her soft, petite body against his.
ところでリンリンちゃん。
Yeah.
私の方はもう限界だよ。
She said the shivering Tao, her expression growing paler and paler. Yeah, she's gonna die! Come on, hurry up!
すまぬタオ殿。
Smack! Ling Ling quickly readied another seal and stuck it on Luan's forehead. Hey, there it goes. Not a bad summary overall. Enemies repelled. Not eliminated, but repelled. A few days later. Aww. Glad no evil demon Ling Ling is still locked away in there. Ling Ling was in high spirits. She kept playing with the panda puppet, occasionally petting it. From time to time, she would squeeze the plush animal's hairy face into a burst of unprovoked violence, but with a heart bigger than the ocean, the panda had yet to submit submit a notification of abuse. Why? Why is she...
かわいいの、かわいいの。
師匠、それずいぶんお気に入りっすね。
ルアンにもらったプレゼントだからな。ずっと大切にするぞ。
Aw, Ling Ling exclaimed with a smile that could melt anyone's heart. Aw, he's even blushing. Ling Ling's response made Luan blush a little. He is immune to most carnal temptations, but not to this. Having suddenly realized something, Luan switched on the TV. Yep, there's Tao. A picture of Tao in the form of Tao Min Nyam Nyam was displayed on screen.
これはタオドのか？
操作しているミーじゃなくてタオ本人みたいっすね。まあ目立ってた方が安全ってことでアイドル続けさせたんすけど。
Yeah, ironically, it works.
以前のような美しいが怪しい感じではなくなり、何やら生き生きしておるの。
Yeah. You've been smiling a lot lately. Did something good happen in your life, any chance? The announcer addressed Tao in an overbearingly friendly manner.
実は可愛い妹みたいなこと、素敵なお兄ちゃんみたいな人に出会えたんですよ。
Aww. Tao's answer was honest, her smile dazzling. Oh, is this older brother of yours handsome? The announcer pried even further. Yeah, they're making so many assumptions. Is she talking about me? Yeah, sure, dude, sure.
はい、普段はローテーションなんだけど、やるときはビシッと決める感じなんです。
Phrasing?
だから、今度会ったら、お兄ちゃんって呼んでいい？ルアンくん。
She freaking drops his name on TV. Blah! Luan sprayed tea all over the floor.
全国ネットで何言ってんだあいつ。
Exclaimed an exasperated Luan. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. Yeah, they did cause backlash. Oh, yep. He didn't realize that Ling Ling was staring at him.
ルアン、そなた、我からもお兄ちゃんと呼ばれたいか？
いつも通りでいいっすよ師匠。
Yeah, that's probably for the
そう
best.
か、少し呼んでみたかったのだが。
Hmm.
じゃあ今日だけなら。
いいのか？それでは、お兄ちゃん、お兄ちゃん。
Oh dear. Ling Ling leapt into Luan's arms. Her light petite body tackled him with a pleasantly soft impact.
師匠？何甘えてきてるんすか？
Aww.
師匠が弟子に甘えるのはダメだが、妹だからお兄ちゃんに甘えてもよいであろう。
Okay, sure.
それに、我はこの前、そなたが死んだふりをして騙したことをまだ許しておらぬぞ。
God, you're gonna use that for a while, aren't you? Ling Ling puffed her cheeks, but her eyes glistened with tears.
しょうがねえっすね。
ありがとう、お兄ちゃん。
Ling Ling seated herself on Luan's lap with a huge grin on her face. She then gleefully resumed playing around with the panda puppet.
この子はパンダと言ったか。かわいいの。本当にこの子のような動物がいればいいのに。
Well, Ling Ling, I have great news for you, actually. Luan froze up for a moment.
師匠、パンダが実在するの知らないの？
Like, wait, what? Are you serious? Now it was Ling Ling's turn to freeze in place. Yep. Warm sunlight filled the area. Making use of the good weather, most of the animals at the zoo were napping. Yes! There it is! There's the little derpy boy!
ルアン、あの子をもらうことはできないか？ダメか？
No, unfortunately not. Ling Ling watched the animals in complete awe while continuing to tug on Luan's sleeve.
死刑になるっすよ、師匠。
Yeah, it's probably true. In China, the smuggling and trade of pandas was a capital offense.
残念だ。
Ling Ling was visibly disheartened. Ooh, but just a few seconds, a scoop of ice cream suddenly appeared in front of her face.
リンちゃん、これあげます。
Right, what's this? What's like? I mean, it sounds like it, but like, I suspect you of anything. You've got something going on here.
ああ、イエンだ。
She's gonna either get a picture or she's got something hidden in the ice cream. Yen. Ling Ling took the ice cream from the older woman with a curious look, then bit into it.
冷たい。甘い。
Her expression was one of surprise and joy. Yen advised her to lick it with her tongue, which Ling Ling did with somewhat vacuous expression. I think that's right, vacuous? Nah, it doesn't have a definition to that word, unfortunately.
そうだ、リンちゃん。あっちにキリンの檻があるんですよ。見てきてはいかがです？
What are you doing?
キリン？水中のキリンか？ああ、それはすごいな。見てくるぞ。
So she says giraffes. The pictures of like a little wombat creature and then quillins? What the heck? Like that seems like off.
私たちはちょっと話があるのでここで待ってます。
Right.
師匠、迷子にならないでくださいね。
大丈夫だ。任せておけ。
She's gonna get lost. Ling Ling's smile was innocent enough, but made Luan seriously wonder if she'd be okay with her on her own.
さて、うーちゃん。
Yen gave Luan a meaningful smile that was nothing like the one she'd shown Ling Ling.
はい、約束のものです。
Mm-hmm. With that, she handed Luan a USB stick.
あの後すぐに病院でリンちゃんの担当をしたシャオリンという医者の職場と自宅を家探しして
Right.
情報を収集しておきました。
It's all fake.
シェイシェイ、姉さん。
However, Luan felt something the moment he took the USB stick. Uh-oh. There was a man staring at them, but he quickly looked away when Luan met his gaze. The next moment, Infa and Jinfa showed up and promptly escorted him away. The man attempted to resist, but it was all futile. The gang got
お、
banged.
シャオリン側の監視か。どうすんすか？監禁して拷問して解体するって感じっすか？
He's so gonna die. Luan inquired about the man's fate with a carefree attitude of someone discussing the weather.
別に確認だけしたらすぐに逃がしてあげますよ。私の身の安全が確保されますし。
Right. Yen smiled. It looked like she was having fun.
どうやらこのシャオリン先生、秘密主義者で合理主義者のようですね。ですから私だけが情報を持っているときは危険でした。
Right.
でもこうやってうーちゃんに渡しちゃえば私を口封じする意味がなくなってむしろ安全ですから。
Interesting.
ま、そうだろうな。
Just puts the target on him again.
で、やっぱこの男がギタンの関係者だったっすか、姉さん。
Luan asked while glancing at the picture of the Shaolin he'd received alongside the USB stick.
ほ
What's in that
ぼ
picture?
確実にギタンを服用したリンちゃんの経過を観察しに来たことから考えても間違いないでしょう。
Yen gave Luan a mischievous smile and continued.
さら
Oh
に
no.
ギタンの研究施設がシャオリン先生と関わりの深い外資の製薬会社であることも突き止めました。
Right. Of
残念
course.
ながらその会社のロゴは傘のマークじゃありません。
It's not an umbrella, but that's. I was thinking that too. It's oh man. Game, you can't do that.
何が残念なのやら。
Luan asked in an exasperated tone.
ねえ、これからリンちゃんとどうするんですか、うーちゃん。
I still
3
like
つの
Yen.
選択肢がありますが。
She's cold, like cruel, and absolutely connivingly mischievous, but I think she's awesome still.
俺たちは先端を手に入れなくちゃいけね
Yeah, said Luan, raising 3 fingers.
選択肢1はすぐにその製薬会社をぶっ潰して異端の情報を得る。
Yep.
選択肢2はその製薬会社に人体実験させまくって先端が完成した頃を見計らって奪いに行く。
Not good, but fair.
選択肢3は俺たちが製薬会社と協力して先端を作っちまう。
That's got some actual, like that could be good, but it's definitely going to draw the ire of what's his name.
ベストなのは3だと思いますけどね。
Yeah, kidding. Start dating him. There we
合
go.
理主義者なシャオリン先生の性格を考えて、かつての敵であっても協力は喜んで受け入れてくれると思いますよ。
But Ling Ling would never go for it.
まあ理屈じゃそうなんすけど。お、
Ling Ling suddenly appeared in Luan's field of vision. With a wide smile plastered across her face, she was closing in on Luan like a high-speed rocket.
ほら、うちの師匠って誰かが自分のために犠牲になっちゃったら笑顔が曇るタイプじゃないですか。
Absolutely not.
その通り。
Yen nodded.
イエンだな、キリンを見てきたぞ。すっごく大きくて首が長くてとにかくすごかったぞ。
So it is a giraffe. Okay, just interestingly translated. Ling Ling exclaimed with her sparkling eyes.
一緒に行こう。キリンは見ると幸せになれる随従ぞ。
Uh-huh.
いいっす、了解っす師匠。
Luan let himself be pulled toward the giraffe cage. But he made sure to glance back at Yen one last time.
ま、この師匠の笑顔を守りたいから。
Aww. He flashed a mischievous grin. What's with the head
ちょっくら
tilting?
ギター作ってる連中ぶっ潰してくるっすよ。
Yeah, I get it. I get it, man. Episode 3, Lady Hexes to be continued. See you in the next episode. But I think that might be the end of them up till now. Are they going to release more? Ooh. Yeah, that implies more's coming. Excellent. I wonder if they're going to be purchasable. That was what they're it's implied. But hey, look at that. We finished it so far. Oh, okay. So, interesting stuff on the horizon. So I'm going to actually have to check on some things. But for now, we will plan on doing a wrap party. I'm going to go check with Fruitbat Factory to make sure, because if they're going to have an imminent release of this, like as in the next year or so, I might just postpone and wait to finish it and do a wrap party of the whole story then. But for now, don't count on anything coming out on Friday involving this or any other series, because next Friday is Christmas and I have something very special planned. If you're still here, thank you so much. But next time we meet, I'm going to be releasing the special patron cast. Now, it's only technically the second one, but I'm doing them every month from here on out as a way to shout out, support, and kind of give some behind the scenes time and attention to any of the patrons who are supporting the channel. Thank you, by the way, to all you fantastic lovelies who are doing so. Their names should be up on the screen now. And thank you guys so much for everything you're doing and believing in the future of the channel. But this next patron cast, whilst it's being coordinated by me and the patrons, is something I'm going to release to the public. It's going to be a chance for me to kind of show you what it is, do something a little bit more special maybe, ultimately give you an idea of what patron cast is and why you might even be interested in participating in it in the future. But that means it's coming out next Friday on Christmas Day itself. So keep an eye out for that. It'll be available for everybody, although to have access to the full playlist, you would need to become a supporter of the channel. For now, it's just Patreon, but eventually when I get the option to have channel membership, I will absolutely allow that to be a thing as well. It just depends, on like how YouTube does that. I think I have to have like 10,000 subscribers to be able to have channel memberships, so we got a ways before we get there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me for this fantastic series. Despite the fact that I can't ever say Jiangshi and Daoshi properly, thank you so much for being here and enjoying the series with me. It really was quite fascinating, wasn't it? I'm really looking forward to seeing more in the future. Hopefully I'll be able to find out details about that, but I might not even be able to share them technically. So if you don't hear from me directly about what this series is or when it will continue, it's likely something I can't quite talk about. But if you want to get updates, be sure to follow in the description down in the Discord channel. I'll probably post updates there, and I'll archive anything until we need to bring it back for later chapters and episodes. But I'm really excited to be able to get that intel. And then, of course, means that we got to look forward to another series to cover on the Friday slot. Likely it'll be coordinating with the beginning of the next year, so that'll be really exciting. And that means the patrons will actually be able to have a voice. Right? We're fantastically, because of all you wonderful viewers, I now have way too many possible titles for my Friday spotlights, and so the patrons are actually going to help me select it. There might be one special circumstances because of something I found, but again, I'm going to be talking with them about that and see what they're interested in. Ultimately, if you want to have say in what our next Friday series is going to be, being a patron is the way to do it. Thank you so much for those of you who will be there. I'm looking forward to talking to you and coordinating all this. And also to all you viewers, thank you so much. Thank you to the developers. They've been really sweet. Not only have they been keeping an eye on the series, but they've even been sharing it on their platforms, and I really appreciate that. You guys have done some good work, whether you're the original creators and writers of this, which is a very fun, kinetic narrative that's been really enjoyable to share, or if you're Fruitbat Factory, who have been helping with the localization, translation, and just the PR of the series. It's been wonderful working with you as always. I look forward to seeing what future collaborations we can have together. And yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to move forward from here. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Please go and support developers who make great games like this, and keep an eye on future episodes of this series coming out, both on my channel and in Steam. But until the next video watching me, I hope to see me in next. I'll see you there.